This is Auto Marketing Now with Brian Pasch.
Welcome to today's show. We have a special guest, the managing partner of Call Review, Chip King. And we're going to be talking about calls today. Not only about call tracking, call measurement, but we're going to talk about some of the problems that dealers are finding with their AdWords campaigns and how do we get our employees to log more calls into the CRM. So it's all about phone calls today, so let's get started with today's show. I'm pleased to welcome to today's show Chip King, managing partner of Call Review. Chip, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Been a big fan of your products because you're providing transparency in areas that dealers never had before. So let's just start. Tell our listeners today a little bit about the company.
Sure. Well, we got started in about 2006 initially. Automotive background. I was an independent used car dealer for 15 years, a GM of a Toyota store as well, and we had the same problem everybody else had. We didn't listen to the calls. I had a great tracking company. I knew the volume of calls, but I wasn't able to listen to the calls. So I found I got passionate about listening to the calls.
Right. And you know, most dealers who listen to their phone calls want to put a gun to their head. I mean, they are crying.
It's called the 3 martini lunch.
Yes. So our industry knows in general that we have a problem with phone calls. Mm-hmm. You shared with me some research in the green room. Would you share with our viewers today some of the data that really pinpoints why dealers need to have an urgent action to listen to their calls?
I'd be happy to. You know, the end result of every dollar we spend in advertising is ultimately to make the phone ring. Would you agree?
That's right.
And so if you're just an average dealer, if I'm showing you data right now and you're average, no better or worse than anybody else,
okay,
you're 37%, listen to me, 37% of the people who call and ask for sales,
yes,
these are not disconnected calls, they ask the receptionist for sales, 37% never get there. They hang up on hold, they go to voicemail, leave a message, they go to voicemail and hang up, there's nobody available to help them.
So that first experience for 37% across the country, over millions of phone calls.
2 million calls we do every quarter.
37% of the people never get a live person that they wanted to speak to.
They never reach the agent that is there to help them. Yeah.
That's fair. That's depressing. What else can you tell me?
Well, it gets worse.
Okay.
Okay, I hope you're okay with this.
I'm ready.
Of the ones that we do answer, when we speak, and it's a sales department speaking, new and used combined, 53% of those calls are never asked for their contact information.
And when we say contact information, I guess email address for the CRM would have to be one of those critical pieces.
Our measurement is, did you get a phone number and a name, or a name and an email?
Right.
We'll say, yes, you got contact information. What we're hoping to do is create a focus on the big leak in the CRM right now, because you can't put in CRM properly what you don't gather. So if we don't earn, ask, and receive the customer contact information 53% of the times that we do speak to a customer, we turn that thing into what, 34 cents?
Right.
That dollar just went to 34 cents in value because we can't follow up. It's a big problem.
So Chip, you know, dealer principals, general managers watching today's show, they're going to say, Chip, hey, I hear what you're telling me, but that's not happening at my dealership. In your experience, when a dealer sees the value in your product, signs up, and sees their, well, maybe first week or two results, because everything is done in real time, you're listening to every phone call, what percentage of your clients, brand new clients, say, Chip, I never thought I was having this many problems?
Almost everybody, but it starts even differently. Dealers say, I know I have a problem, as you did at the beginning of this. I just don't know how bad it is. And remember, these guys are all graduates of 2008.
Yes, they made it through tough times.
They made it through tough times, and they fix what they can measure.
Right.
And they now want to measure this previously a black hole. It's been a black hole forever. They know it's not good. They know that when they listen to the few calls, I tell you, when I was a dealer and I would listen to 4 calls, and I would either get a baseball bat and go down to the showroom floor.
Yeah, your blood pressure may be going crazy.
Leave. Yeah, because it was a terrible experience for me, and I thought we were better than that. So, but inside a couple weeks, once the shock and awe is over, they know how to fix this.
That's right.
And there's only two things, it's process and skill.
Right.
If we're not answering the phone, it's process. If we're not gathering customer contact information, not getting enough appointments set, it's skill.
Right. So let's talk about that. As part of your service, when the data is collected, when the observations are made, when the diagnosis is given, hey, you need help for asking for the appointment and confirming the appointment, how does Call Review help a dealer with skill building?
Well, the first thing, again, is the measurement.
Yes.
So we bring it right down to the employee. We have an employee report card, we have department report cards, we have really good specific data on performance. Now, if a dealer's engaged with a trainer, we will help that trainer. We'll bring that data to the trainer. We'll help the dealer measure the trainer. Because if you're training, these metrics need to get better, right?
That's right. So if a dealer gets your product, says, I have a phone problem, and calls any trainer in the country, now he also has a tool to measure the ROI of that trainer.
Exactly.
Wow, that's fantastic. Now, let's talk about this employee scorecard.
Sure.
Dealer really didn't have a clear understanding of how many calls each employee were taking. Did they ask for an appointment? Did they get a firm commitment? Did the appointment show? This is some really...
Was it confirmed?
Was it confirmed?
Right. Is it in CRM?
So, for the first time, this really critical phone process, they have transparency down to the employee level.
Oh, absolutely. Right, and as you said, down to the show and buy or a repair order written.
Right. Now, one of the phenomena that we have talked about, not just today, but multiple times, is today dealers are seeing mobile traffic increase. So, for example, one of our clients, Lithia Toyota of Abilene, over 60% of their traffic to their website is from a tablet or a mobile device. Now, in other parts of the country, it's 30%, but I'm seeing numbers like 60%. Are consumers on a mobile device calling more, or are they still submitting leads like from a desktop?
It's changed everything. The smartphone and our measurements has changed everything. There's an overall increase, everybody knows this, there's an overall increase in total call volume. Some say there's a decrease in web lead submissions.
Sure.
Now that increase in call volume is led by the click-to-call on the mobile.
That's right.
So it's clearly the mobile, and while I'm at it, that mobile call is way more important than the one that was made from home, because I've just done my research.
That's right.
I know who you are, I know your reputation, I know your car, I know how much your car costs you, I know how much you sell them for, and I've selected you. In utility, Jay Baer says that by the time a customer clicks the call, they're 60% down the road to a purchase. All we have to do is facilitate with transparency and answering questions and skills.
I wish dealer principals, general managers really took that to heart, Chip. Today's consumer is self-directed. They have information on what they're going to pay for a car, how much their trade is worth. We've had on the show great people who have shown us now we have online loan pre-qualification tools. Everything is there.
Everything.
And by the time they call, it's almost the dealer's sale to lose. So why are dealers so reluctant to utilize the services of your company and look in the mirror?
They're not reluctant to use the services of my company.
Well, it would be great, you know.
No, I know what you're saying. I know exactly what you mean.
And there's so many people who love your product. I love your product, but I go into some dealers and they're saying, yeah, it's expensive. And I'm like, no, it's not. Have you thought about, you know, blowing up 50% of your phone calls on a regular basis, not having data in the CRM? Chip, why are dealers reluctant, meaning they have electricity, they keep the showroom clean, they know the basic building blocks for their business, why don't they want to be accountable for every call that comes in?
In my opinion, and you know, the average rooftop expense to get the services that we offer is $1,237 this month.
Okay.
A dealer wants $12,337 back. They want
a 10 to 1.
They want 10 to 1, or they're not paying for it, and they should. You should get a dollar for a dime, right? In every case. What they don't want is to be told bad news month after month after month after month and not solve it. Right. Why would they continue to pay that amount of money to find out there's no improvement? So the training piece, and you referred to it earlier, if you have a trainer, the data supports your trainer's effectiveness. If you don't have a trainer, we're a trainer.
Right.
We don't charge for it. We have webinars 4 times a week, interactive webinars that anybody can join, whether they're a customer or not. We have an online university, LMS. Anybody can join it. You don't have to be a customer.
Which I really liked.
Yeah, it's really important. So the message that I like to say is, don't just measure it, whether you use us or anybody. Don't just measure it, fix it. And don't run from it, because it's going to be hard.
That's right. And I can tell you this, that the phone accountability piece that we're talking about is one part of it. The other thing that I really love about your product suite is the fact that dealers can see where the phone calls were generated from.
Yes.
And let me put the bigger picture for people who are watching today.
Please.
Dealers know that if they're using an AdWords company, that part of their reporting is how many calls AdWords generated, how many leads. But many dealers, that's the only dynamic phone numbers that they have on their website. But today, dealers are using YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. They have a blog, and they're generating visits to their website that are generating phone calls.
Indeed.
But, well, they don't know. And when you think about a statistic that Facebook shared, that 59% of the people who click on a Facebook ad are on a mobile device.
Right.
If you know that probably over 80% of the people who click on a Twitter ad are on a mobile device.
Indeed.
And if mobile shoppers are more likely to call, wouldn't we want to know, what's the ROI of these efforts?
That's huge, because right now, D&I, obviously, dynamic numbers will tell you an awful lot. And just tracking, just traditional static tracking as well, because you need to know why everybody thinks my website's great.
Right.
Look at my website, it's really doing a lot of stuff. How did they get to your website?
That's right.
D&I tells you how they got to your website. Where did it start? But more importantly, if you measure it right, now when did they called from your website? Who did they ask for? Which department? Which cash register is ringing because of this investment that you made that goes back to the original web tracking? And did you answer the phone? 37% of the time you didn't.
Right.
And when you did you set an appointment? 25% of the time you did. And when you talked to the customer, did you gather the customer contact information? 47% of the time you did, if you're average.
Right.
So it all ties together, Brian.
That's right.
Exactly right.
It's part of the ROI challenge. I will tell you, one of the most exciting things I do with our ROI bot dashboard, and of course you're integrated into that, is going into dealers and showing, showing really the ROI of their whole marketing budget. And one of the things that's just fantastic about your reporting is that, well, you get some insights, and you mentioned it quickly, as what are they asking about? So what is the Facebook customer asking about? What is the Twitter customer? Now, one of the things that you and I have talked about off the show is that when you listen to the phone calls generated from Google AdWords, for dealers who are running ads for new or used cars, tell our listeners today, on average, what percentage of the phone calls that you're hearing on AdWords campaigns are for service?
96%. Wow. 96 this month, 92%, always in the 90s.
Right.
Now, we have to remember, and dealers should not be too disappointed about this. Think about this for a second. We have to remember that the customer's in the market for service 4 times a year. He's in the market for a car once every 48, 54 months.
That's right.
Right? So there's a higher likelihood that that's what they're looking for when they search, no matter how they search. Now, is it a bad thing that you set a service appointment on a sales ad dollar? If you're marketing your service lane, it's not a bad thing. If you understand the equity, if you understand the customer experience in your service lane, then you are creating sales opportunities. But so many dealers are disappointed when we first show those numbers.
Right.
They're calling whoever's they're doing business with, and they're screaming.
Right. And you know what, Chip, in today's strategy session on the show, I'm going to be talking to dealers on how to fix that problem, how to really make sure that your service AdWords budget is more service focused, and how to protect those valuable sales or variable ops dollars. When we were talking today, you were excited about the call center services that you're offering dealers now. And of course, you and I know if a dealer is staffed properly, of course their own employees are the best qualified to do outbound calling.
Always.
But we do have dealers who are, well, going through staffing changes, problems. They have a holiday promotion, a stair-step promotion that they need to get out to their existing customer base or prospects in their CRM. Tell viewers
they don't
today,
have room, or they don't have the energy.
course.
They're trying to keep up with their outbound sales prospect calls. So we're certainly not the first into the call center outbound
right.
call market. We were kind of dragged into it by a lot of our partner dealers because they needed help.
Of course.
And so we took kind of a different approach, and I am excited about it. If you, as a dealer, give us a campaign, it might be some people that you've done an email blast to, it might be people that you've done a mail blast to, it might be people that never serviced their car there or haven't in 9 months, whatever the audience is, we build a custom script around your message,
Right.
discussing the value of your particular message. You approve it, then we make the calls. You send out 10,000 mailers, we might make 500 calls or 1,000 calls, whatever you ask us to do to
Right.
enhance the ROI. We make the call based on your script. It's an interactive, very subtle script. When we set an appointment, we send an email to you right away so that you can see the appointment set and all the time. Most of our dealers prefer this, so we'll put it in CRM.
That's great.
Which is the big ad. We manually, not ADF XML,
Right.
we
So it
manually
goes
enter it
into
CRM.
VIN or dealer socket.
Or X time or
whatever it is,
service schedule.
accurately.
And then when that appointment's coming in, and this is where the dealers need the most help, and I would strongly suggest that that is the case, and I wish it wasn't, we confirm the appointment.
Great.
And we do it, what I call it a triple play. We email, text, and phone call to confirm every appointment that we make. Now, if the dealer were able to make those calls, and obviously they're going to put them in CRM,
Sure.
and then confirm them, their results are better than our confirmation even, but usually that's the biggest challenge for a dealer. So we're really excited about our outbound call center. We only want to do it if you can't or won't,
Right.
But we do a good job.
Right. Well, Chip, I want to thank you for being on the show because I think the biggest profit leak in today's dealerships, marketing budget, and sales strategy is the phones.
Absolutely.
You have a product that will track employee performance. It will track ad revenue sources that generate phone calls. You can inspect and coach on process. You can inspect and coach on skills. And then, of course, if they need some extra juice for some outbound marketing and some leads, you can help there. I really think you have a unique place in the market. And I am really excited for you and your company. If there was one thing you wanted to leave viewers today about your company and how you work with dealers, what would it be that you would want to say to them?
Well, I'll combine a thought. The thing that dealers seem to like the most that we didn't even talk about today, because it's not the most important thing to me, is an interactive text alert. So when a call goes wrong, the dealer wants to know now to give it to the person who can fix it.
Right.
We send an interactive text alert, click to call the customer, they're clicking to call us, you call the customer, you put your notes, the resolution of the alert goes into your CRM, life is good. But what I would say is the most important thing is I am one of those guys. I am a car guy. My company is full of car guys. We only serve the car business. We understand I have BDC director history in my team. I have GMs, dealer principals, a team full of automotive, and we think of ourselves as a partner before we're a client.
You know, I was just in Florida this week, and I was with the Morgan Auto Group, and I was asking them, do you do call reviews? And yeah, we're using call review. And I asked the general manager, what did he like about the product? And you mentioned it. He says, Brian, if one of my calls isn't handled properly, I get an alert. And our team can immediately fix, call the customer back. So I asked him, and it just happened this week. I was there training for 2 days. I flew in from Florida yesterday. I said, how many deals a month do you save? And he said, on average, 25 to 30 deals I save every month. Yeah. For the dealer principals and general managers watching today's show, a product that costs $1,200 a month that saves 20,
on average,
20 to 30 car sales and improves customer CSI scores and improves your long-term retention and market share. Well, I think it's one of the best products. I've had dealers tell me it will be the last product they ever remove from their budget. So congratulations.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
I wish you a great year of success, and thank you for being on the show.
Great. Thank you very much, Brian.
And now for today's marketing tip. We learned on today's show that Chip King, in his monitoring at Call Review, said a majority of the phone calls generated by Google AdWords are actually for service. And this, of course, is somewhat frustrating for a new or used car manager if most of their AdWords budget is being burnt up by the fixed ops team. And you know what? On average, 80 to 90% of the AdWords spending is generated for new or used car campaigns. So why are so many people calling for service? And it's pretty simple. Google will not allow a dealership to run 2 Google ads at the same time to the same website. You may not have thought about it this way, but if a company could run 2 or 3 ads going to the same website, well, they could dominate the first 3 positions in Google AdWords search results. So Google has a rule that there only can be 1 ad per website. One of the strategies that dealers are employing with great success is having a service microsite. Companies like Dealer On, who specialize in service microsites, are winning dealer hearts because it allows the dealer to run a sales ad and a service ad at the same time. And so why is this important? I think that when a consumer who wants to service their car talks to someone from the service department and sees ABC Toyota, maybe it's a Camry ad, and then ABC Toyota Service Center, I think that most consumers are going to click on the Service Center ad, which means the fixed ops AdWords budget gets dinged for the click, and the call, well, of course, goes right to the service drive. The click goes right to the service microsite. So if you're frustrated that many of the calls in your call review report tagged as AdWords or for service, maybe you should take a look at creating a service microsite to create a wow experience for customers who are looking for service, and market that site so that the people who click on your new or used car ads are really looking to purchase a car. It's that simple, and well, dealers who are looking to create that wow experience online are finding that a service microsite is that special added bonus that other dealers have not invested in. And that's today's marketing tip. And now for today's email grab bag. A general sales manager wrote into the show asking, Brian, how do I get more of my sales team to log phone calls in the CRM? Well, it's a great question because today's show is all about phone tracking and skills measurement. And one of the ways that you can increase phone call compliance in the CRM is to use a mobile CRM app. That's right. Many dealers have been reluctant to empower their sales team with the mobile apps from their CRM providers. Now, if your CRM provider doesn't have a mobile app, well, it may be time to go shopping, because the mobile CRM apps from the best companies on the market today allow a salesperson to look at their task list, click on a task, click the call button, and right through their mobile phone, they can call the customer, and most importantly, the call is automatically logged. And you don't need any expensive technology. For example, Dealer.com's CRM uses virtual IP telephony that enables any phone to call a customer and appear as it's coming from the dealership. It's that simple. Of course, products from eLeads and VinSolutions and other products have similar functionality, but since your sales team is probably very comfortable using their mobile phone to call their friends and family, well, it's kind of natural if they're out on the lot looking for the next up, they can complete some of their call tasks while they're waiting for the next customer. Or maybe it's while they're home and a customer calls them, they can, well, log that conversation directly into the CRM. For people who are viewing today's show, phone call measurement and compliance is so important. If we're spending our marketing dollars to generate phone calls from in-market shoppers, well, we need to make it easy to get those calls into the CRM. And once a lead is in the CRM, our follow-up calls need to be in there. And a mobile CRM app is one way for you to increase the number of calls and call activity that are recorded in your CRM. So thanks for the email question. Viewers who would like to submit an email question for the show, well, if we use it, I'll send you a free copy of my book, Mastering Automotive Digital Marketing, the first textbook for automotive professionals. So that's it for today's show. Inspect your phone calls. It's how consumers are reaching your dealership in an increasing way every month. We'll see you next week.
Thank you for watching this week's edition of Auto Marketing Now.